Easy parenting.
Session we are going to understand what is parenting and the principle. I can just say it's a secret, and it's an easy parenting, how we take all this as a easy parenting. Okay, so the main three principle, the three secret of parenting is first self training, a child training, and then the family training. So these are the main aspect of parenting. You have lots and lots of things, but when you just know these three things, you can easily like bring your child in a happy way, happy you and even your children. So first thing is self training, the second thing is child training and family training. So first we will go and just see what is self training. So self training is love yourself first. So self love is the first step before you parent, before the motherhood. Even after you become a mother, you always have yourself on her priority. So self training is the first and the best one. So love yourself first. Self love is the best love. So why do we worry as a parent? So first thing is like, why do we once we are into the motherhood, first thing is like we worry because we feel like it is like a competitive world and we compare our children and we feel like our children should be best, and sometimes we are confused what to do. So this parent, my sister is like bringing their children the other way, and my brother and my neighbor, my relative, friends, but what is I supposed to do? So you will have lots of confusion when you bring up your children, and then you feel that if you are a working mother and business person, you feel you have so much to do and you don't have time to spend with your children. You have work like client meeting and business meeting, or like if you're working, you have to work like whatever the employees say, you have to work for them, but you at the end of the day you feel that you don't have a family time, especially you don't have time to spend with your children. And what is our role as a mother? So the next point is like you will feel what is my role as a mother. Okay, so let me ask you one thing. In this maybe the current world, the current society, how many of you feel we should be the best friend for our kids? You feel that you should have a best, you always say like I should be a best friend for kids, but what you felt is wrong. So you can't be a best friend for your kids. You should be a friend but not a best friend. For example, if your this son or a daughter, she wanted to go for a party in the evening, midnight. Will you allow your kids to go out in the midnight party? No, right? We will have some boundaries. We'll say no. But as a best friend, hey, come, let's see. So you should not be a best friend. Your approach should be friendly, but not as a best friend. Okay, so that this is the main first thing, because many are struggling because we assume that in this current society we should have the role of best friend. Okay, that is how a children we have given, like we just expanded our boundaries and told like you, I am your best friend. You can tell because we expect them to be like very open to us, tell everything, and we will try to do something, but which is really a wrong approach. So we can be a friend but not best friend. And what to do as a mother? Okay, so earn your respect as a mother. So first, instead of like when your children are back answering, when your children are saying something bad or they're even shouting at you, you feel you're disrespected. They're not giving you respect. But instead of like asking for respect, you should earn that respect. So how do you earn the respect? So see, I always feel whoever it is, they can have inspiration of too many people. It's like of many people in the outside world, but the role model should be the parent. The discipline should come from the parent only. It is not looking at somebody else. So we should earn the respect instead of asking for respect. So how do we earn the respect? So we have to have that disciplined life, and we have to know which is best to them, which is like okay to them, which is yes, which is no. But that's before you be a perfect mother, you be a perfect person yourself. You should love yourself first. You know you have to know your discipline, how you wake up, how you are how is your perfect day. So that only by seeing that only the teacher, the students, or sorry, the your children will learn. So always be a learning mother instead of teaching mother. See, always we teach, do this, do that, don't do this. We always teach children. We always, but to be a, to bring a best children, you have to be a learning mother. So means you have to be learning new things, adopting new things, and you learn along with them. So you always should be a learning mother, not a teaching mother. Grow yourself as a mother. So be an updated mother. So for example, I'll tell you, recently I went to a family function and we were like having a photo selfie and all that. So I just told one of my relative, told her to just open your Instagram, so we will click the photo from the Instagram only. Then time she was telling like, what is Instagram? I don't have Instagram. But she's a college lecturer. So I was surprised. She was not using. So it is not that only Instagram or Facebook I'm talking about. So we feel that being a traditional mother only will work out. But now this current society, our children will feel bad when you are not updated. So you have to be an updated mother, not only the gadgets or technology, all the other things. For it, you have to update, and you should know what is happening in the world around, even in the children, the technology, or the teenage. So what is that they are expecting? See, we as a mother, we have some certain rules, but when they go outside, friends, sometimes they just say, see, your parents are very traditional, so sometimes they hide something from telling even to the friends, because we are not updated parents. Okay, so always try to be updated parents, know things happening around the world, around your children. So be child focused, not world focused. So this, it is like obvious. So we always should focus on our child. What is our child capability? What is our child can do? What is his interest and all that? See, the world, see, now that is how everybody wants doctor, everybody wants to become an engineer. So because sometimes when, since I was working in a school, one parent, one student, he was really not interested in engineering, but the parents wanted him to do engineering. They say, no, my family, everybody is doctor, so I know he can't do that doctor. So I want him to do engineer, only that then our status will, like, we'll get proper girl for him, and a status, and everybody will have good talk on a family also. Otherwise, even a family name will go. So that, but he was literally crying, no, I'm not interested. He's interested in something else. He was interested in humanities or something else. But the parents it was like a pressure to the student to take engineering, and as the parent wished, he took 11th as a science group, that max group, but he couldn't score. He was like failing in few subjects, and then in mid of the first semester, it was like told, it is forcefully, he has to be changed to humanities, and then he changed. So that is how we always see the society. We focus on the world, not on the child. So we should always focus on our child, not on this world. Okay, the next thing is what to do as a mother. So identify your parenting style. So you have like around 4 style, but I'm not going to tell detail about it. It'll take time. So like you have 4 a typical parenting style, but you should know which type you are, because your child is just a mirror of you. So they just copy your mood. If you always shouting, if you are like always teaching, being very rude, they will also learn that. And your tone, are you a soft tone, hard tone, and your reaction, what do you react. So all this is a copy, they just copy from you only. So when the child is like going somewhere, you feel that child behavior is wrong, first think what is that style he copied from you or she copied from you. So that is, you have to know what is your parenting style, and change your action to change the result you see in your child. So definitely when you see like your parenting style is not working, then definitely you have to change your action. And you change your action, you will definitely see that in the changes in your child as well. So understand the design of your child brain. So this is very, very important. See, for example, we always after this mobile, we say like, sometimes we always say like 5 minutes I'll just look into the mobile and then I will just keep it away. But when we sit for 5 minutes, are we like 90%, 99% just coming out after 5 minutes? No, we don't know our brain our thing, everything will take at least will take more than 5 minutes, like half an hour, sometimes 1 hour also. We are not aware of what we are doing it. The same way when the child is like too much of the screen time, then the child, like if we snatch the remote from the child the brain will say, see something you're missing. You just start shouting, you start crying, you start rolling, so you will get it back. So when the child is saying why we are tend to see the mobile, because we are getting some pleasure, and our dopamine chemical reaction, which is like the happy hormone, is secreting in the brain. The same way when the child is watching too much of the TV continuously, then the child is feeling pleasure on it. So the child is that happy hormone is like secreting. So when you suddenly just grab the remote from the child, then the brain will tell him, no, your happy hormone is missing. You want to be happy, then cry, shout, roll, you will get it back. So you should know why the child is acting that way. So every child has different like they maybe the capacity, everything is same, but all the as the same fingers are not the same. Even each and every child's brain is different. So every child has a different pattern, like different purpose they've come to earth. So we expect our elder son, younger daughter, whoever it is, we expect all of them to be the same thing: a disciplined, respectful, obedient, studious, everything. But you remember, every child has a different child. Okay, this child is different and this child is different. Okay, and parent yourself before you parent your child. This is like you should know your emotion. You should know where you have to heal first. Before you become a parent, you have to parent yourself. So if is there anything I should heal, maybe childhood trauma, something is like still bothering. And if I will tell you this for an example, because my whenever I see something funny or like humorous, I just stop, I will just laugh inside me because my father will scold me. So this has become my just character or habit or whatever. And when I just after my motherhood, I couldn't bear my children's laughing loud. I was irritated. I was like, it was irritating me when they laugh loud. Then I found out what is the reason why I'm not happy when they're laughing loud. Then I worked on myself. I worked on my emotion. I healed my inner child. And then now, whenever I call my friend, I say, we are having a get together and I wanted to laugh loud. So that is how it has become. So before we parent, we should know where is our emotional should be healed. So where is that it is coming from? What is that reflection you see in the children? Okay, so that will make you feel easy in parenting. Okay, and the last one is, or self training is, mother energy is family energy, and that is equal to world energy. So more than a father, mother plays a major role. So you as a parent, even a father, a mother, you are the root. So if the root is not good, the fruit is also not going to be good. So we should first heal, we should love ourselves, we should give time for ourselves, we should learn every single day. It is not that we have just learned, educated somewhere and we've got degrees and we are working now. That is not at all enough. You should always learn some new skills. It is like, maybe it is like, it can be your passion, or it can be something you can earn from it, whatever it is. But you should keep learning, you should keep investing in yourself. So there you will feel that you emotionally you know how to handle yourself, and then the same thing you can implement in your kids. Okay. Now we are going to child training. So know your child, connect before you're correct. So this we always try to correct our children. Okay, what to not to do this, not to do that. See this, we compare, we do complain, whatever it is. But the main thing is you have to connect with your children. So before you correct, you have to connect. So you should have that bonding. So only when you have that bonding, that connection, it is easy for you to correct them. So they will listen to you. Otherwise, it will be like somebody is instructing and they will do it in front of you. After that, they will not follow it. So you should have that connection before you correct. So what are the top problems? So now this I've taken few common problems, like child watching too much of screen, child not studying, child not listening, being stubborn, back answering, child crying, hyperactive, shouting, teenage parenting, and single parenting. All these are common. Okay. But why all this problem is not we are not able to solve? Because no structured recipe. We don't have a structured recipe. Okay, so for example, we don't follow something. So today we say something to the kids, and tomorrow we ourselves will not ask them to follow, or we don't have the structure. So you should have a disciplined, structured recipe. So I'll tell you what I do is like recently I've made my children to do. So once they wake up, they will have to do any mantra. So I put like Hare Krishna, Rama mantra. They have to listen to that, and then like common, since it is like a holiday, they can do like whatever, they brush and then they have their breakfast and all that. Before they go to bed, they have to tell what are the good things they did today. So they have to tell that. And my elder one, he has to write. My younger one, who is to orally tell. And then what, like to whom or for whatever things, yeah, they gratitude. So they have to say gratitude. And then one thing, like what they have to say sorry for. Okay. Then what is the changes they have to do? So they have done some mistakes. So they feel this is not right. Maybe I've scolded them, or they themselves felt sorry. So what is that changes they have to do? So this I'm doing it every day. So I just see my elder one, he's able to identify what is wrong, what is he's repeatedly doing some mistakes, and what is he's thankful for, and he's like able to, and now they have to say 10 good things. So now purposely they are doing some good things because they have to cover the 10 things. So that way you can just appreciate your children, encourage them, so that definitely they will learn some good habits. And again, depend on random information from here and there, we act and we expect children to be. So we grab from Instagram, we see some new information, our friends from information, our relatives, our sibling, we get in random information to grow up our children. One second, one second. Okay. So randomly we get information here and there, and then we sometimes we force our children to do the same, or we ourselves get stressed. See, my this person is doing this way bad, but I'm not doing anything for my children. So we randomly collect information and we force our children to do, or we ourselves get stressed. And no solution that fits all. So it is again, we feel that one solution will fit everybody, but it is not happening. For example, we are in a nuclear family, so where my husband and me are taking care of children, but somebody is in the joint family. So I will say my child to watch TV now, watch, you can use the mobile for some time. But the same grandparent, they will say let them watch TV for a longer time, let them see mobile. Or if I give for sometimes, they'll say, see, as a mother you are giving mobile to them. So you have to go with even the elder people. So there you will feel that, see, I am planning to bring my children in the other way, but they are like maybe distracting, or they are like telling me to work on me and all that. So we'll have some the distraction, we'll have the disrespect and all that. So that every solution will have different. So your family will have a different solution, my family, I will have it in a different solution. So no one solution will fit all of them. And depend upon traditional parenting, as I told you, we always depend upon a traditional parenting, which will not work in a today's society, because you become a better as you learn. So as I told you, you should always keep learning, investing in yourself, learning new skills, so that you will be a role model to your children. And we have to have an evolving mother parent. So instead of being a teaching parent, we should also evolve according to the children, according to the society. So we will know our children better, and even they will grow better. Okay. So how to solve the problem? Understand the child's psychology. So you should know what is that child's emotional, and why is this child is behaving this way, and what is that he exactly need. So that way, when you know the child's psychology, you will definitely have the better parenting. Understand their age. Again, this is also. So your since I have a different age category, it is like 5.5 years difference. I now can't expect one thing, both thing from both the children. So he can be in different way, the other can be different way. So I have to feed my younger one, but my elder one, he can have it by himself. So that way we also expect many things. We like, see, your brother is doing that way, why you're not doing? So we always compare. So you should know even their age and understand the brain of your child. This I think already I've covered. And believe best behavior. So first thing is, like, for example, when the children are young, so when they are walking and when they are trying to touch the switchboard and all that, we immediately say, no, don't, we'll shout. We will get panic and say, don't touch. And if they go to kitchen and touch anything like a knife or sharp item, we will shout, no, 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 you don't touch. We panic and again we shout. So the child will get and believe that, okay, whenever I touch something, my mother is going to shout. She's not going to allow. They don't know it is a harmful thing. It will get hurt. But they will form a belief that if I touch something, my mother will shout. So this way we bring up children. So we will start make them believe in many ways. So for example, one of my client recently she said, I feel I am not enough. Whenever I do something, I myself feel I'm not enough. So when I just found, she told, like, whenever I'm trying to do something, whenever I wanted to show speak in front of my relatives and all that, my mom said, you don't talk, and she just asked me to go inside the room. So that is where she felt she's not enough. So that is how the belief system. So when there is a behavior different, you feel that the child is behaving in a different way. So you should know what is their belief system. What is their believing that? So you should first change the invisible to change the visible. So you should know what is that something inside them where they have to change so that the visible will change, and understand the root cause. So now it is in the distraction world. If your child is like, we always, what we do when the child comes home, we expect the child to tell everything that happened throughout the day, but we are not understanding that are they in the good mood to tell us, are they in the right way, like are they happy or they come sad. So we as a parent, we want to hear everything from them. So we should know what is that distracting them, why are they sad. Like, you just have to give space for them. When you give space and when you feel that your child is okay, your child is perfect, that is only going to happen. When you have that fear, when you have is like, what has gone wrong, what has happened, why she's moody, all that, and you are going to have this stress, and the same way the child is also not going to share it with you, because the child is not feeling happy to share with you. So you should know the root cause, but how? Not immediately, by giving some space. And then become an anchor of love. So instead of being very straight, very forced, instructing, teaching, be an anchor. Love-based parenting. Now, for this society, it is only helping with love-based parenting. And then the final one is family training. So as I told you, mother energy is the family energy, and the family energy is the world energy. But again, you have challenge when it comes to joint family and nuclear family. So joint family is like, it has both benefits, pros and cons, where you'll have joint family, you will have people to say story, grandparents, they will tell their stories, where they will learn to speak quickly, and they will know tradition things and all quickly, everything. But nuclear family, since both the parents are working, we will not have that time on all that. So but again, both are challenges. And at the same way, like nuclear family, you will have the space to bring your child in your own style, maybe this current way of parenting. But when you are joint family, it was like, again, recently one of my clients, she said she has 3 daughters, but it is like a joint family. So 3 grandma, like mother-in-law, mother-in-law's mother-in-law, all were there in the family. So whatever she's trying to bring up the children, the grandparents are not allowing her. So that's like, even when they are like dressing up, they're very like maybe 11 years, 8 years and all that. But even the way of the child dressing, they just compare, no, you should not dress like this or all that, where they feel very bad. So there's like, you have both pros and cons. Okay, so now what is that experience? How do we experience those challenges? Lack of proper boundaries. As I told you, there is lack of proper boundaries. We should know to where to have a boundary and where not to have boundary, just a relaxation. So we should know that. And wrong expectation setting. We always expect children to fulfill our needs. But you should know they have come for a different purpose and they have their own experience, and definitely they will learn from their experience. And we should not have too much of expectation from children. Don't know how to communicate. Sometimes we feel we are lack of communicating with the kids. We don't know how to communicate, how to maybe just say this. See, for example, we wanted to tell something which is happening in the society which is not good, but we feel how to communicate with that. So will they take it in a good way, or how to? Because sometimes I feel even now my elder son is like a male, so how to tell him to just keep. I always say you have to give respect to females. That is the one thing I keep on saying for both of them. You should keep respect, and we should not touch and talk to females. Even male, you don't touch and talk. So that is how I. But when it came to me, like how deep I can say, I'm still have that communication, like how to like deliver that and all that. And you should know how to say no. So for example, now in this current scenario, you can't say straight away no. If the children ask, my elder one asked for a mobile. Since everybody has a mobile, my family, all children have mobile, he's asked for a mobile. So instead of saying straight away no, I can't give you a mobile, I told him, see, I will definitely buy you a mobile. I really wanted to buy you a good mobile, but now for now you can use my mobile. And I promised him, like whoever like is your friend sending a message, I will not read. So you should say no, but you should not say direct no. You should tell it in a diplomatic way, and focus on growth and not drama. So you should always focus on growth. Growth means what is the child's interest, what is that child needs to do. So say for example, if the child gets less mark in some subject, instead of saying, see, you studied well, you're not doing well, you're not fit for nothing, all that. So you should know why, how can he improve. So is he really interested in that subject, or he's like want some tuition, something like that. So instead of the drama, you should not have the drama in that children. You should always focus on the growth. Build your self-esteem. So as I told you, so for everything you should build your self-esteem, so that will happen to your kids as well. And learn how to set boundaries with love. So when you set boundaries, you should set boundaries with love, not like a forcefully you set boundaries. Okay, I just now wanted to ask few questions, so you can write it and find look so that you will have some awareness. So for the first question is, what does being a good mother mean to me, and where did I learn that? So can you write? The second one is this: when do I feel most connected to my child? So when do you feel you are most connected to your child? And the third, what are my biggest worries as a parent? What do they reveal about me? And the fourth, what childhood wound am I unintentionally projecting onto my children? And do I parent from love, fear, or guilt? And how can I shift more into love? When was the last time I truly listened to my child without fixing or judging? How do I repair after I make a mistake or lose patience with my child? How do I repair after I make a mistake or lose patience with my child? What is one thing I can do today to create joy with my child? Balance and self-care questions. What part of me have I forgotten or sacrificed since I become a parent? What part of me have I forgotten or sacrificed since I've become a parent? How could my parenting change if I felt more rested, supported, or fulfilled? Growth and intention. What kind of values do I want to pass on? Am I living them myself? So what kind of values? You have certain values. So what kind of values do you want to pass on in your child? Am I living them myself? How can I bring more fun and less pressure into my parenting? If my inner child could speak to me today, what could she say about my parenting? I think you've all done. So I'm just stopping. I think initially you wrote what are like the challenging. So do you feel that still a challenge of bringing up children, or it is easy when you follow all this? Thank you, Kalai.